Have you ever met someone who constantly pushes people away, yet deep down craves connection? Or maybe that someone is you. Trauma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers through habits we don't even recognize. In this video, we're uncovering 8 subtle but common behaviors people with trauma often do, without even realizing it. 1. Over-apologizing. One of the clearest signs of hidden trauma is the habit of over-apologizing, not just for real mistakes. People with trauma say sorry for simply asking a question, for expressing a need, or even when someone else is in the wrong. They've been conditioned to believe they're a burden, that their presence, their emotions, or their needs are too much. So, sorry becomes a survival tactic, a way to avoid conflict, rejection, or shame. It's not about manners. It's about fear. Fear of making someone angry. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of being seen. But here's the truth. You don't need to apologize for existing. You don't have to shrink yourself to be accepted. You are allowed to take up space. 2. Difficulty trusting others. Trust becomes complicated when your past has been filled with betrayal, manipulation, or neglect. Even when someone shows kindness, there's a quiet voice inside saying, "Don't fall for it. It won't last." People with trauma often scan for red flags constantly, even when none exist, not because they want to push others away, but because they've learned that letting someone in can lead to pain. They might test people, keep them at a distance, or expect abandonment even when everything seems fine. It's not paranoia, it's self-protection. When trust has been broken too many times, it feels safer to expect the worst than to hope for the best. But healing begins when you realize, not everyone is here to hurt you. Some people actually stay, and slowly it becomes okay to let your guard down. 3. Need for control. Trauma often begins with a moment where everything feels out of control. So later in life, the need to control everything becomes a way to feel safe again. Schedules must be perfect. Plans must go exactly right. Uncertainty becomes terrifying. It's not about being demanding. It's about managing fear. Because if they can control every detail, maybe, just maybe, they won't get hurt again. But control can become a prison. And healing means learning to let go, even just a little. To trust that not everything needs to be perfect to be okay. That safety can exist, even in the unknown. 4. Pushing people away. Here's the paradox. People with trauma deeply crave connection, but often push people away before things get too close. Why? Because closeness feels risky. It reminds them of times when love turned into pain, when vulnerability was punished. So they build walls, act distant, sabotage relationships before they even begin. It's easier to walk away early than to be left again later. But underneath that armor is someone who just wants to be loved safely. The journey isn't about tearing down the walls overnight. It's about slowly building trust and learning it's okay to let someone in without losing yourself in the process. 5. Hyper-independence. I don't need anyone. It sounds strong, but often it's a response to being let down too many times. Trauma teaches people that relying on others leads to disappointment or danger. So they become their own everything. They don't ask for help, even when they're drowning. It feels safer to struggle in silence than risk being vulnerable. But humans are wired for connection. Being strong doesn't mean doing it all alone. Healing is realizing that needing others isn't weakness. It's human. 6. Emotional numbing. Sometimes the pain is too much to carry, so the mind shuts down. Not just the sadness, but the joy too. This is emotional numbing, a survival mechanism that protects, but also disconnects. You stop feeling excitement. Love feels distant. Laughter feels fake. You function, but you don't feel alive. It is not that you don't care. It is that your nervous system is tired of caring too much. The road back to feeling isn't always easy, but step by step, emotion returns. First as a whisper, then as a voice. And one day, you realize you're feeling again, 7, being easily startled or always on edge. People with trauma often live in a state of hyper-alertness, loud noises, sudden movements, unexpected changes. Everything feels like a potential threat. This isn't drama, it's biology. Their nervous system has been trained to survive danger. Even when there's no danger anymore, it feels like walking through life with your foot hovering over the brake pedal, ready to slam it at any moment. They're not overreacting. They're overprotecting. With time, therapy, and safe relationships, that constant tension begins to ease. The body learns to exhale, and peace becomes something they can finally feel, not just chase. 8. Self-sabotage. When someone grows up believing they're not good enough, not lovable, not worthy, even happiness feels wrong. So when something good happens, a healthy relationship, a career breakthrough, a moment of joy, they subconsciously sabotage it. They pick fights, miss deadlines, push people away, not because they want to fail, but because failure feels familiar, success feels suspicious. But that belief isn't the truth. It's just an old story the trauma keeps repeating. The real truth: you do deserve good things, and you don't have to destroy them to feel safe.